Welcome to Uxbridge Scugog Life. I'm your host, Jackie Hermans. So, we have a very exciting show in store for you today. We'll be talking to Patricia Greco, who helps women in their divorce, and in particular with the financial aspect about it. She's an accountant, and you have to keep on watching to find out more. We'll also be talking to Teresa from CAA, talking about the worst roads in Ontario and how you can get involved with choosing those. And Honorable Dr. Jean Augustine is on the show. There's a new movie coming out about the incredible impact that she has made in Canada. Make sure you keep on watching. We'll be right back with more.
This program is brought to you by OHL Action Pack. Looking to see tomorrow's stars today? Follow the teams and players you want to watch. OHL Action Pack is part of the Rogers Super Sports Pack.
My husband is a wonderful man and a great father when he's not drinking. I'm so angry he chooses alcohol over us. If he really loved us, he'd stop drinking, right? My counselor suggested I try Al-Anon. I didn't understand why. I'm not the one with the problem, but I'm glad I went. Do you worry about someone's drinking? You are not alone. Al-Anon or Alateen can help. Call 866-200-0033 or visit alanon.org/hope.
Hello, I'm Rob MacArthur, host and co-producer of Helping Durham Region. Join us as we shine the spotlight on Durham Region residents that are making a difference by helping other residents. That's Helping Durham Region, only on Rogers TV Durham.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. So now with me on the show is a trailblazing politician and educator, Honorable Dr. Jean Augustine. Dr. Jean Augustine, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you so much, Jackie. I'm so glad to be any place other than Etobicoke right now, and Scugog seemed to be a great place to be.
Well, I'm glad you were joining us here in Scugog and Uxbridge, yes. And it's for a really amazing reason. There's a premiere of a movie that is it's called Steadfast: The Messenger and the Message, and it's all about you and your trailblazing in reshaping Canada. And I want to give our viewers
yes.
more of an idea of the incredible impact that you've made. So yes. You were born and raised in Grenada?
I was born in Grenada, which is one of the most beautiful islands in the Caribbean. And I'll encourage everyone from Scugog Uxbridge to make sure that that's on their holiday list.
Oh, I love it.
On a serious note, I was born in a village 3 miles outside of the city. The main city is St. George's. So I was born in Happy Hill, St. George's, Grenada. I grew up in an environment where children were loved and children were nurtured by very, very strong adult women. And the issue of education was really foremost for those adults. Many of them did not have secondary schooling or an education of any kind. But they realized that for the children and for the way forward in a very colonial setting, that education was the way out. And so I got my elementary education, my high school education, and had ended up with the Colonial Oxford and Cambridge Overseas School Certificate A level. So I was prepared for post-secondary, but there was no post-secondary on the island at the time. So I was looking for an opportunity to go away, as it were.
So is that what it specifically inspired you to move to Canada?
Yes, and education was really the inspiration. But the opportunity was the program that was offered by Canada to the Caribbean to assist with the unemployment of young people. If you are between the ages of 18 and 24, and you would like to come to Canada to work in the home of a Canadian family, as a domestic. Then at the end of 1 year, you will have landed immigrant status and you could remain in Canada. And so I took that. That was my big opportunity.
Now, when did you decide to get into politics?
Well, politics, I think everything in life is politics. What you're doing is politics. What we are on an everyday intervention, concern over issues, that's all part of what is, the political life, the socio-economic life of the community. And so when I came, I did not come with a checklist that say, I'll go to teachers college, I'll go to university, I'll be an educator, then I'll be a politician. Politics came as a result of my engagement and my involvement with the community as an activist, as an advocate, and as someone who wanted the society to be what it said it was, a multicultural, multiracial, multi-ethnic, multi-religious society, a mosaic of peoples, and a diversity in the society. And so I, together with so many others, I never did anything on my own. It was always with a team and always with others. We were working for just, fair, equality, equity, inclusion, making sure that our community was engaged, and also that the general Canadian society saw the African Canadian community as very much part of this. But again, I didn't just work with the African Canadian community. I worked with all of the communities, especially those who call themselves new Canadians, newcomers, immigrant communities. There were just so many issues that we had to deal with. And I was one of those who were always in with others as we moved to make this the just and fair society that we all want.
Now, because of you, we celebrate Black History Month in February.
Yes.
That is a pretty impactful change that you created to educate the community, the importance of that. Now, did you realize that in 1993, when you made history about being the first
African
Black Canadian to go to be in the House of Commons, did you realize how significant that was at the time, and the changes that you would potentially make? I don't know if that's a silly question or not.
Well, I think, Jackie, that it is an important question, because I did not go into the Parliament of Canada saying I'll make fundamental changes, but I knew, because of my past experience with people who were disadvantaged, with people who are at the margins, struggling to get to the center, with all the things in the society that needed attention by the general society, by the general, political class, etc. At the same time, having come from the field of education, there were so many things I didn't know, and having come as an immigrant, I did not have any modules that I was teaching in social studies that spoke to Indigenous peoples. I didn't teach, and I didn't know about treaties and land agreements and where the Indigenous peoples were, etc. Their contribution, and of course, the present story about residential schools, etc. There was nothing in the textbooks that we were using. There was nothing also about African Canadian communities. And here I was socializing and being around African Canadians, some of them having been in the society 8, 10 generations. And yet there was nothing in the textbook and the modules that we were teaching that spoke to that history. There was some mention of the Underground Railroad and Canada as this big shining whatever to the north, and everybody was struggling to get away from the US to this place in the north. And yet we know there was slavery here, there were some conditions here that could be equated to the conditions that there were for African Americans. And so I realized there's a lot of history there, and I wanted to make sure that this is Canadian history, that Black history is not just for Black people. Black history is Canadian history, and I wanted all of us to know this. Beautiful. And so when I put the motion it was to establish that.
Well, thank you for your passion and drive, because you've made beautiful changes to reshape Canada. And I thank you. And if people out there want to find out more about the beautiful impact that Dr. Jean Augustine has made, you can go to the premiere. It is on Saturday, April the 2nd. And again, it's called Steadfast, the Messenger and the Message. You can go to YouTube. There's some trailers on there. You can find out more. Thank you so much, Jean. It was wonderful to have you on the show.
Well, thank you. I'm so very pleased to join you. And I hope that we'll be able to have a showing maybe in Scugog, Uxbridge.
Oh, beautiful idea. Maybe sponsored by Rogers TV.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Thank
we'll
you.
Be right back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
Bye-bye.
Hi, my name is Michael Kearns, and I'm a volunteer at Rogers TV. As a volunteer, I start my day off by setting up the set for the show. This includes setting up the backdrop, cameras, lights, conducting mic checks, and making sure everything is ready to go when we film. Then it's time for lights, camera, and action. Being a volunteer means I get to experience things I've been dreaming of, such as shooting mobile hockey games for the Oshawa Generals, which is an amazing experience.
Here's Vellotti, long shot, scores! And Salonitri now will shoot it in. He's got a partial 2-on-1 with Bowler. Salonitri to Bowlers, back to Salonitri! What a play, Kyle Bowlers!
And the best part, when we come back the next day, we get to do it all over again. My name is Michael Kearns, and I volunteer for Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. I have Teresa DeFelice from CAA. She is the AVP of Government and Communications. So, Teresa, welcome to the show.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So we're talking about worst roads. And I understand that CAA has a campaign that gives the citizens an opportunity to be able to vote on what roads are the worst within their community to help to push some changes to happen. So can you tell me how this campaign works?
Sure. We're excited that we've released the 18th annual Worst Roads campaign this year. The CAA Worst Roads campaign gives Ontarians an opportunity to speak up and speak out. We know that from a recent survey that we did in January, 72% of Ontarians are complaining about poor roads, but they're not letting their decision makers know. They're complaining to their spouses, families, and friends. The Worst Roads is an campaign is an opportunity to get that message out and to have a forum that is kind of crowdsourced or collaborative in getting roads some attention.
So if you have an opportunity to, let's say, vote on these roads, do they have to be main roads that you're voting on, or can they even be small little community roads?
They can be any road that you drive on or that you walk or cycle on or your bus route goes on that sort of you noticed is in poor need of repair. It could be a very congested area, something about the design that has increased congestion. You can vote for roads due to poor timing of traffic lights or not enough road signs or lack of cycling and pedestrian infrastructure. So it doesn't have to be a major arterial roads. Those tend to be the ones that gravitate to the top of the list just by sheer volume of votes. But you can let your voice be heard with any road that you want to get on the radar.
And how does the voting work? Do you just go to the CAA website?
You can go to caaworstroads.com, and that's where you would nominate your road. You can go every day and nominate the same road. You can nominate as many roads as you like, and you have until April 19th to do so.
All right. So the benefit of voting for these roads gives an opportunity for politicians to see, right in their face, what those pain points are within their community, correct?
Yeah, I think the reason why the campaign's been around for 18 years is because we do have success. It's not the most prestigious list to be on, but at the same time, we know politicians are planning in their communities, working with the staff. They sort of determine what roads needs to be fixed, but they're usually very big lists with lots of dollars attached to them. But we've seen decision makers come out and change where a road is on the list, or when they weren't really aware of just how bad something has gotten and is sort of that traveled route that causes enough sort of frustration, come out and make announcements, put shovels in the ground. We've had several communities, especially in 2021, where the politician or the regional council came out to commit some funding and to commit to some repairs right away and address those pain points.
Okay, beautiful. So anything trending in the Durham region?
So what we see right now, and it's early days, Carnegie Beach Road seems so far as a favorite. It's not near the top 10 list, but it is further down and getting some votes. I guess the intersections around Island Road and Pogue Road are seem to be pain points if you're driving along Carnegie Beach Road. So, we've had municipalities who rally to get a road put on the top list. If that's something that, community members want to do, they've just got to pull together and start voting for that road.
Okay. For me in Uxbridge, I would vote for Mill Street, but it seems like over the winter, it always gets these massive potholes. And they did clean it up last year, but those potholes are already there again. And I also find it's challenging to turn left onto Toronto Street from Mill. So that's what I'm going to vote for. Is
awesome. We look forward to seeing it on the back end, and maybe you'll have others join you in nominating that road.
Yeah. Okay. So when do you think the report will be released, as voting ends April the 19th?
We take a little bit of time to validate what we've seen, get nominated. We use the services of the Ontario Road Builders Association. They're a partner. They voluntarily contribute their engineers to do an analysis, tell us what the fix is. So it's a pretty comprehensive work that goes on before we release the list. So it'll be coming a little bit later on, because what happens then is the CAA advocacy team kicks in and talks to the decision makers about the roads that ended up on the list and what are the opportunities to make investments to fix them.
Beautiful. I think it's really important for everyone to get out there and vote. Also, let's decrease the damage that is happening to our cars. I'm just thinking of potholes right now. But yeah, it damages the cars, and then it'd be nice to save time on those streets where those lights aren't cooperating, let's say.
So, potholes do cause damage, wear and tear of bad roads on your cars. Absolutely. These are some of the reasons why you want to fix, but, you could be on truss, bike, foot, bus, bike, or foot, and not just driving to nominate a road in your community.
Beautiful. Teresa, I'm so glad we had you on the show. Thank you so much. It's the first I heard of this campaign, so I'm super excited to participate.
Fantastic. My pleasure to be here. Thank you.
We'll be right back with more in Uxbridge Scugog Life.
I'm Mallory, and I was walking home one night when an impaired driver hit me. He had been overserved in 2 bars before getting behind the wheel. If the servers would have called him a cab instead of serving him more alcohol, my life would be the same as what it used to be. I think servers play the biggest role in keeping us safe because it's up to them what state the person's in when they leave. Refusing service isn't personal, it's the law.
Hey, I'm Chef Corey Dern, host of a show on Rogers TV Georgina called Cooking with Corey. Join me bi-weekly for brand new episodes where I teach you not only what to cook, but how to cook. On this show, we have cooked almost everything. Things like Japanese udon noodles with tofu, chicken on the rocks, zucchini fritters, and even grilled cheese. There's only one thing missing, and that's smell-o-vision. That's Cooking with Corey, right here on Rogers TV Georgina.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. With me now on the show is Patricia Greco, who is with GRC Wealth Transition Solutions. Patricia, I hope I got that right. You can correct me if I did. Welcome to the show. It's wonderful to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
Okay, so with COVID, as I understand, there has been, I've heard there's been an increase in divorce rates, separation rates, etc. And I understand that you help women through divorce, through the financial aspects of that. So have you noticed in what you do that there has, in fact, been an increase in divorce rates?
Yeah, Jackie, I don't have any statistical information to back that up. But yes, if you speak with other professionals in the field of divorce, absolutely, lawyers, mediators, family counselors, or financial professionals like myself, we have likely, most of us have experienced and observed an increase in inquiries, people asking about the divorce process. My understanding is that courts are still quite backlogged, and whether this is due to increased number of divorces as a result of the pandemic, or couples just having put it off until now, and courts have also been closed and not operating at full capacity for a period of time during the pandemic. So it's difficult to know whether there has been an increase in divorce rates during the pandemic. But yes, I myself have noticed an increase in inquiries, people just reaching out, asking for help.
Okay. So I am currently going through a separation as well. And so it was interesting when you connected with me. I'm like, oh, well, this is an alignment for sure. And so I've been just starting to deal with a lawyer and the financial aspects that you have to start compiling together. And it's not an easy process, and it could be really confusing. So I'm sure there's some people out there that are maybe just beginning the process or maybe considering divorce or separation. Can you just provide us a brief summary on what are all those financial aspects that you need to bring all together that can be confusing?
Yeah, I think Jackie, what you may be talking about and referring to is the financial disclosure that you may be dealing with yourself. So anyway, I'll try to simplify what that is. Anyone who's going through a divorce and requires claims for property or support, property division or support, as many do, both spouses need to provide financial disclosure. The disclosure, as you may be experiencing yourself, includes filling out a financial statement that is a prescribed form, which gives information on your income, your expenses, the value of the assets like your matrimonial home and other assets, maybe pension assets, your bank accounts, loans must be included like mortgages, lines of credit card balances. You'll need your tax returns, notice of assessments, and absolutely for some, gathering and sorting, organizing all this information can be a daunting task for sure.
Now, why did you decide specifically to zone in on helping individuals with the financial aspects of dealing with divorce or separation?
Right. Yeah, so just to give a little bit of background on myself, so I'm a chartered accountant. I have over 30 years of experience as an accountant. I've worked in public practice, public practice as in national accounting firms. I've worked in the financial services industry. I have my own private practice for over a decade. I myself went through a financial divorce, and I saw firsthand how stressful and overwhelming the financial process can be. So after I obtained my Chartered Financial Divorce Specialist designation, So now I work as a divorce financial professional, and I work exclusively with people who are going through divorce. I appreciate that it is extremely stressful, extremely overwhelming, particularly the financial aspects.
Okay, Patricia, last question. How can you help your clients in a way that maybe the lawyers can't really assist them?
Right. So, Jackie, that's a great question. As you can appreciate, divorce is actually the largest financial transaction you'll ever experience. Oftentimes, people do appreciate the value in consulting with a lawyer, but they overlook the value in consulting with a financial professional that can help them navigate through all the financial issues. It's so critical that you make informed decisions when you're going through the negotiations. There's so many financial issues, and it can be so costly if you are making decisions that are not well informed. So a financial professional can really help you navigate through all those financial issues.
Okay, thank you so much, Patricia. It was wonderful to have you on the show. If you want to talk to Patricia, we'll make sure we have her website at the bottom of the screen there for you so you can connect with her. We'll be right back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
I'm Judith Tate, host and producer of At the Heart of Business. Join me each week as we get to know women in business and learn all about their challenges and successes. That's At the Heart of Business right here on Rogers TV.
Hey folks, it's the BMD here, episode 3 coming up on Meet the Band with local artist Young Stitch and Reality. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. I'd like to thank my guests. So Teresa from the worst roads in, from CAA, talking about the worst roads in Ontario, and then also Patricia Greco. So it's very interesting, the whole financial aspect, and hey, maybe you can look into it if you're going through divorce and separation, need to save money, or also you're wanting to make sure you make those sound decisions. And Honorable Jean Augustine, thank you so much for being on the show. You reminded me that we can handle whatever life is going to face us. We have that powerhouse within us all. Thank you so much. We'll be right back with more next week.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line. Email us or connect with us on social media.
We fought our way through Italy and then headed for Amsterdam, sweeping for Germans along the way. Our worst fear was to catch a bullet in these last hours of the war.
I was 15 when the Nazis invaded the Netherlands. More than 100,000 Dutch Jews never came home. Our men were put into forced labor. By 1945, we were starving. The food drops gave us hope. And then the Canadians came.
Before Amsterdam, I couldn't have explained why we were there, all those years away from home.